season 3 of the Porsche Cup, season 3 on iRacing. This is the first race of the season for me. Let me turn off voice audio because that's going to get annoying. And Virginia International Raceway. Not my strongest course, but I should be faster than this. I was faster than this in practice. I think the track is cooler when in the actual race, so the grip isn't quite there. I qualified 12th position, but the person in front of me in I guess that would be 10th position never joins the grid, so I have an open field there. So I'm going to go through the first lap here as we get started. And I'll walk you through this. I'm going to fast forward through some of this, and I'm going to then load up race 2. So in this video, I'll have race 1 and race 2. I get a really good start, but I'm also being very cautious because I know the tires are cold, and I want to make sure that I don't get involved in any wrecks early on. The objective is to make it through a lap or two to warm up the tires and then really push. You have, I'm actually giving people plenty of room. Fine, you want to pass me. My objective in this first race, and I've only done a few practice laps. We have an accident right in front of us there, 2 cars out. My only objective is to actually finish the race fairly cleanly if I can, because I've only got about like 35 practice laps or so on here. But I've done pretty good in my practice laps, but keeping on the track is difficult. You go from really high speeds to sharp corners to downhill and uphill. It's a very interesting track. And honestly, the last time I drove this track was back when I was initially getting into iRacing and driving Mazdas, the Mazda MX-5s or whatever they are. Which you have to do to then get promoted into this level. And it was a shorter version of this track. This one goes a little bit longer. I'll point out where the Mazda track abandons this track. But yeah, so not a lot of practice. I'm just sending it. I'm saying let's go for it and see what happens. Overall, I'm going to make some mistakes here. This is a very tricky corner. You got to really brake hard, ease off the brakes. I'll walk you through that in a minute. But this is the end of the first lap. Tires are still not completely warmed up. I am sitting in 10th position. And tires are still not completely warmed up, but I get a good run out of there. I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll get a run on Leo here in the Red Bull car in front of me, but it's not to be. I'm going to, again, be a little cautious. It takes me about a lap and a half to warm these tires up. So I'm not willing to risk a collision at this point. And in fact, there's another driver on my right. I'm going to go ahead and let him through too, dropping me down to 11th place. Again, I'm going to make several mistakes in this race, some worse than others, that ultimately, like you'll see the end result, but ultimately good learning lesson for me. Overall, pretty happy with my performance in this race, considering how little practice I had at the time. Driver in the Red Bull goes off, and now I'm back up in the 10th behind Cookies here, which is Josh in the Cookie Monster car. And okay, let me walk you through a little bit more of this. So let's go outside, and you can see you're going up this hill into a hard right and then a hard left down a hill. A lot of accidents happen right there. A lot of people off the track there into this almost U-turn. It's kind of a double apex there. Only lap 2. So my tires are pretty well warmed up by this point. This is the part of the race I want to walk you through. Coming up this hill, you're going full speed. You're in 6th gear, approaching this. I begin braking hard in a straight line at 3rd, down to 4th. You're still trail braking, then trail braking, then braking. I go a little wide here, a little wider than I should, but that's the general idea. You brake hard in the straight line, you trail brake into the turn, brake hard again in the straight line, and then trail brake around that corner. And then down this other difficult hill. I think that's actually the most difficult part of the track right there. It's certainly the one that I clinch up as I hit it. This is actually a difficult part of the course as well. I go a little wide here. The reason this is difficult is because you have to have a little patience. You got to know the exact speed you want to go through this area, otherwise you're going to fly off the road. And it's a little slower than you would think it is. You hit this curb here. If you can hook it right, you'll pivot the car onto the track a little bit better. I do learn a lot from this race as I watch the drivers in front of me and see how they're attacking various curves as well. I have been also watching the video that my coach has put out, Bernardo, and that has helped tremendously through the practices. This is the hard left here after that uphill area. A lot of people go off the track right here. So far, so good. Feeling like I'm doing well. I think it's about lap 6 where I have my first real incident. That's still not an off track right there. I have a driver right behind me. I'm in 11th place. He is less than a second behind me at this point. That is Preston behind me. Josh in front of me. And I'm losing out pace to Josh. Josh is obviously a little quicker than I am. That's my first mistake right there. So off the track, I didn't brake at the right time. And honestly, what that was, I joined the track safely, but what that was a momentary lapse of focus. And that's all it takes in that area. Like, you have to be concentrating so much when you hit that area. Okay, so I'm in 12th place. We're going to skip forward a lap. Back in 11th place as somebody has spun off and gone into the pits. I'm going to skip forward again, and I think we're on lap 6. I think this is where I also make a mistake that I want to point out. All right, so behind me by 3.5 seconds, Maurizio. Vasilios in front of me by 5 seconds. So hoping to just keep the car on the track at this point. I see actually as I'm watching this what I'm doing wrong here, as you'll see in race 3. Again, I'm only going to go through race 1 and 2 in this video, and I'll keep it kind of short. I'm going to fast forward through portions of it. Still determined to get in the top 10 if I can, and I am now because somebody else has had to go into the pits due to an accident. So I am back in 10th, but then back in 11th real quick. I'm not sure what just happened there. Still doing fine here. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I want to point out my mistakes on this course. I do much better through this section this time as I'm definitely focused going through it. So no more lapses in concentration in this area. All right, so let's fast forward just a little bit. We'll fast forward until I make a mistake, and then I will show you exactly what I was thinking. Okay, there's the second mistake, but not the worst of them. So as you enter this corner, I should be braking already, and I brake too late, and so getting off track going here. Unfortunately, that brings me back into the clutches of Mauricio behind me, which is not where I wanted to be. So now he's 4/10 behind me and catching up. So again, it's all about knowing exactly where to brake and how much to brake. This driver has had an accident, so I get past him. He slows up Maurizio, which is exactly what I was hoping he would do. But here's where this is where I'm going to make my major mistake. So we are battling a little hard here. And I'm going to show you first off from my perspective, and then we'll go through it. So coming up to the top of the hill, let off the gas, downshift into 5th. I hit a little bit of the grass there, but then get tagged. Now I'm going to back it up, and I'm going to show you what it looked like from camera angle, and then I'll switch to chase, and you can see exactly what happens. So again, I get past him. He's still fighting it, but I have position, so I'm in front of him. We're coming up the hill here. I hit the grass a little bit right there. It looks like I slam into him. I'm off the road. These both get past me. I roll back into the grass. I want to be cautious rejoining the track. I see there's another car coming. Wait for that one. That one's having an accident. That one goes by. And I go ahead and I'm now safe to rejoin the race. Something people should learn from. So now, let me back this up and show you from the chase view exactly what happened. Because initially I didn't know what occurred. And then I thought, oh, was this my fault? I think this was my fault. As I watch this now, sorry, not rear chase, I want far chase. I see what happens here. And actually, I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to go into slow motion here so you can see what happens. I hit the grass. It spins me slightly. Then he collides with me. At least that's what I think. But as I go back and I look again, what happens is I hit the grass and it slows me down as I hit the grass. He actually has contact with my back left bumper, which spins me into him. It doesn't necessarily look exactly like contact here, but that's because of the net code, which kind of anticipates where you are. But right there, he has hit me. And in fact, you may even see a spark there. Nope. Right there, he's hit me, and that sends us off. You know, honestly, I think it's a racing incident. I don't know how he could have avoided that except be off of me more. But honestly, we were racing hard, and the slowdown hitting the grass caused that to turn into an accident. So all good, all's fair, as they say in Love and War and racing. So, okay, so we're in lap 7. We return to the race, and now I am in 15th position. And I'm hoping to make up a few spaces. I'm here behind Martin, who initially I think I can pass, but eventually Martin pulls away from me a bit until I kind of get my legs under me again. He's taking very different lines than I am, and I'm kind of studying that as well. Martin opens up the gap to me to over a second. And this will continue. Now he's a second and a half as I go slower through that hairpin to apex turn there. I gain a point back as a driver has gone off the road, so now I'm in 14th position, remembering I started in 12th. But now I'm kind of keeping up with Martin, and there's only 6 laps left in the race. I'm going to scoot forward a couple laps just so you can see what happens. So next lap, I'm still behind him, but we are catching up to the drivers in front of us. And here we are, I'm in 14th position. This is lap 11. I just take 13th as that driver goes off. And honestly, just trying to stay on the road here and keep up with Martin in front of me. And hopefully we can make a challenge to the 2 drivers in front of him. We're in lap 12 at this point. Lap 13, we have definitely caught up to these guys, so we have more pace, but not a tremendous amount more pace. So I'm starting to think, like, what's it going to look like if we try to pass these guys? This is lap 13. I'm going to go into lap 14 here. We're definitely on them at this point. I am currently in 12th position as drivers have gone off the road ahead of me and wound up in the pits. And so this is lap 14, almost the last one. I get right on Martin there. In fact, I almost make a pass there. I am going to make one more mistake coming up here, which slows me off of Martin significantly right there as I hit the grass. And then into the final lap here. And we'll just walk through this. Final lap, I am currently in 12th position. You can see we have caught up to the cars in front of us. If we can get something done or we can apply pressure, they might have an accident and allow us to pass. I make another mistake there. I've collected something like 11 incident points in this race. I wanted it to be clean, but I've gone off and had a collision and lost control of the car at one point, so that has really cost me. And so I'm just doing my best to finish the race. Martin, I think, gets a move done. No, he doesn't get the move quite done there. I thought he was going to get it done. Still in 12th place. I am too far back from these guys. You see the driver Blaine in front, or excuse me, Sam in front of. No, I'm not sure who that is. In front of Martin, the driver two cars ahead hits the grass there. It slows him down a little bit. Here we come into the last turn, and something has happened ahead of us that has caused an accident. I am now in 11th position. So, through no real expertise of my own, I thought Martin here was going to get this move done. He's really trying. They really do take it down to the wire. Really close. I think if he'd come out in front of him just a second earlier, he would have pulled that off. So I end up in 11th. I gain one position. Not a great showing, but again, my first race, and I didn't have super high expectations. So let's see what the results of that look like. The results of that here are... oh, wrong race. Here we are. Results of that here are I lose 0.15 safety rating as a result of my 11 incident points. I end in 11th place after starting in 12th. Not the greatest on laps. I did a 149.4, which is decent for me. I can get into the 148s if I'm really driving well. But I do gain 16 iRating points. So pretty happy with that. Again, my goal is to get to 2,000 by the end of this season, season 3. That's a tall order, so we'll see what we can do. So while we talk about what I learned there, let me show you my next race, which goes much quicker than that for some very bad reasons. But again, this is a track that I quite enjoy. It's very different than the street tracks that I've been driving, and I think honestly I really enjoy the street tracks more than these types of tracks. The fact that if you go off the road in a street track, you are immediately in the wall, and that's it. Adds a certain level of danger and carefulness, I think, for the most part. Like I feel like drivers were a little more careful in that particular case. So let's take a look at, I go through qualifying here. Okay, so I go through qualifying and I only place 10th position. However, having placed 10th, I feel pretty good about where I am, and I feel like, okay, a little bit of improvement over last time. I kind of screwed up my second qualifying lap, which threw me off. I think I could have probably been up in like 6th in this particular race, but that was not to be. So, we're talking, hey, it's cold tires, everybody careful in the first turns, be ready, and watch what happens here. I get a great launch. I'm going to pass on the left, number 21 here, and this car hasn't moved. Okay, I get slammed into. I'm going to back that up and show you what that looks like from I didn't even make the first turn. I didn't even make the first turn in this race. And I'm going to show you what it looks like from the far chase camera so you can see exactly what happens here. So what you're going to see is that this driver up here never moves for some reason. We start the race. I get a good launch. I'm going to pass on the left. He goes to the right, hits that car into me. I was already trying to get to the left just in case a car hadn't stopped. And that was it. That's it. I have damage to the vehicle, to the tire. Rather than try to bring it home, I just pull over to the side and go to the pits because I have a meatball flag. A meatball flag with 6.5 minutes of repairs. It takes 2.5 minutes to get to the pit via the tow truck. So my race is destroyed. Basically, I finally get going. I put in a few laps just to try to save some of the humiliation and damage that I've sustained. I am in front of the leader, and I figure, well, let's turn this into a practice race for me. The leader is closing on me from behind, but maybe if I can just avoid being lapped I'll feel good about myself at this point. Um, when I came onto the track, the leader was roughly a third of the track behind me. So he has been closing in on me, but I have fresher tires. Ultimately, the leader's going to spin out a little bit. I'm gaining some pace on him at this point. He does spin out and loses the lead to another driver. And yeah, I basically finished this race with not a fantastic result at all. In fact, let's take a look at what the result of that race is. And we can see right here, I started in 10th. I'm going to end in 19th place. I get 6 penalty points. It drops my safe rating by 0.01. But worse, I lose 62 I rating points, which is the exact opposite direction of where I want to be going to get to 2000. So a little disappointed, wasn't angry. It just happens. It's early in the season, so I'm feeling like, you know, it is what it is. We'll get through it. Yeah. Not my favorite track that's going to be on the calendar this season, but you know, it's a good one. It's a good one, and it brings back memories. Let me actually show you one thing really quick. I'm going to skip forward a lap and fast forward, and I want to show you, like, the last time I was driving this course again was in Mazda MX-5s, and what would happen is you would come through this area. The track was shortened for the Mazdas. You'd come through this area, and then right here, you see this on the right, right up here, this would be coned off, and you would turn up here to the right, and you wouldn't come out until all the way here. This is where you would come out on the Mazda, and then immediately down into roller coaster here. So it was a fun track in Mazdas. It's a fun track in the Porsche. The Porsche is much bigger than the Mazda on it. But yeah, so listen, not a great start to my season, but some good learning lessons. And yeah, so we will see how race 3 goes. And a spoiler alert, it's going to go much better. And you'll see why if you click on the next video.